So hello everybody, last week we started a new series of how to read charts, and at the end of the video where I show you how to generally read a chart, I gave you a challenge of actually reading the chart that I was looking at and giving me your findings. I was a little bit unspecific about my question, but I didn't want to give away too much. Here's the thing. You have to be very careful when you read charts, because you could come up with the wrong conclusion if you don't pay attention to what the chart is actually saying. So we're going to go back to the example that we had when I talked about how to read a chart. If you remember, I said that you would read a chart like that. So start from the source and then go into the title, then the axis, then the legend, and then the actual chart. And if we do like that in this chart, you'll see that the source is the Pew Research Center, which is a well-known research center for, they claim to be unbiased as to how they present data, and they do all kinds of research and polls and put a lot of information to inform the public about different topics. So this is by the Pew Research Center. It talks about social networking site users by the age group. And then here on the y-axis you have the percent of internet users. And it is divided by different groups, group age, so from 18 to 29, 30 to 49, 50 to 64, and plus 64. And then you can see the usage by a timeline. They have the timeline in here, right? And then the timeline is month and then year. And you can see that there is a exponential growth of usage of social networking, especially for younger people, right? It is still very big for like middle age. I guess those are middle age groups. But here's the thing. If you really paid attention to the graphs, you'll see that here the graphs is 0 to 100, and it is an interval of 10 by 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, which is great. It makes sense. But if you look at the x-axis, you'll see that it starts at February 2005, and then the next one is August 06. And then you said if it keeps the same interval all the time, that's fine. But then the next one is May 08. And I was really confused when I read that. It's like, what? So I went actually into Excel and plot the timeline. So you can see that it's 19 months between the first points. You have 21 months between the next one, 11 months, 13 months, 15 months. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense as to how these things were picked up. And I had to plot that thing in Excel. So I did. I put a monthly scale and plot the same numbers in there. What I did though is, because I did not have the numbers in between for the other months, I just put them constant. So these, as you can see, is the same values, and then it goes up to the same values, goes up to the same values, because I don't have the intermediate points, right? But once you see the data like that, suddenly you get another picture. You don't see a exponential growth at all. You see more a linear growth, I would say. And here you can see that I'm not skipping any month. I know that Power BI, I've done it with Power BI. No, I've done it with Excel. So Excel is actually not showing everything, but I do not have any gaps in the months. And you can see that the story is completely different, actually, when you look at exponential growth to actually quite linear growth pattern. And not only that, you can see here that it ends up everything with a decrease. You see how things drop dramatically from, that's where you think. You go from August 12th to December 12th. There is a dramatic decrease of use, in social media use. Now think about it. December 2012. what do you do in December when you are on holidays? You spend time with your family, right? You don't spend as much time, at least most people, and I know this for a fact because I have tons of websites and the places where I can see that December, like, it just drops, it dies, the internet dies. So to actually plot everything like February, August, May, April, May, and then have December there as the last point, I don't think is a good thing. You should probably measure at the same interval of time in the same period of time if you actually want to have consistency in the data. So did you find it? I haven't been able to read the comments before I actually published it, so I'm very curious to see if you actually commented first and then if you actually found this discrepancy. The point of this story is like this. You have to always, independent of who the source is, be critical when you read the charts. You have to read, again, I show you the method, go to the source, to the title, go to the axis, make sure that the axes are consistent to what you think they should be. And if they are not, to do as I did, what happens if I actually plot it in consistent measures? Go to the legends and then actually the actual graph. That's the last piece of the puzzle, because all of the data around it will potentially mislead you if you don't take a look at that. Now, did the Pew Research, why did they put it like this? I don't know. I have absolutely no evidence whatsoever to say that they were trying to mislead anybody. I don't think they were doing that. Why they publish it like that? Maybe that's the points they could find that they didn't think about it. It's not the point of this to actually put blame on anybody. It's just for us to be able to learn to read the charts critically, right? To use our critical thinking to see, does this make sense? And is there something weird here that I should be aware of while looking at the chart? Most of the time you'll find that when you see inconsistencies in charts, it's just because the person creating the chart missed it. You know, I don't think people intentionally try to mislead, though there are places and times that it happens, but that is beside the point. Our work in our job as human beings, being fed with data all the time, is to be able to read these accurately as possible. Okay, so this is all for today. I hope you're enjoying this series, and we continue with that. Next time we will start looking at some charts. Okay, so as always, enjoy your day, take care, and I will see you again on the next video. Until then, bye bye.